WFM 91.7.
Good morning. You're welcome on Panorama on Women Radio 91.7, 6 minutes past 9. And yes, on Panorama, we'll bring ladies from different geopolitical zones come together to discuss, dissect, and disagree on topical issues. As always, it's always a pleasure being on Panorama, always, and I miss being on the radio, but I'm back. My name is Esther Alaribi. How are you doing today? I hope that you're feeling great and excited for the new day, because my day is coming off. I'm started off just well, and I hope that your day is also taking a good shape. To be a part of the conversation today, you can call in live 07000 917 917, and you can send us a text or a WhatsApp message 070 56537 to be a part of the conversation. You can also listen live via the website www.wfm917.com. Download the mobile app to listen live, WFM 917. I have joining me in the conversation this morning, Ibinabo Dixon. Good morning, Ibinabo. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good morning, Esther, our Honorable Minister for Happiness. Good morning to all our valued listeners. It's great to be here, and I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's always a pleasure having you on the program. And I'll be starting off the conversation with this one, talking about ASUU. And I'm glad that we have an educationist in the house, in Ibinabo Dixon, to talk about this one. So, looking at the ongoing reaction to the strike organized by the Nigerian Labour Congress, the NLC, and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, ASUU is having to direct its members nationwide to also join the nationwide strike. So what this means is, if ASUU follows through with the strike organized by the NLC and the TUC, you know what that means for our institutions. And the ASUU president, Professor Emmanuel Shedeke, is having to say that the strike is necessary to protect the interests of Nigerian workers and the leadership of the union. Also having to say that zonal coordinators and branch chairpersons should immediately mobilize their members, that's ASUU members, to participate in the action. Now, the federal government also condemned the two labor unions for this planned nationwide strike, calling it an unwarranted attempt to blackmail the government. First, let's look at the educational aspect to this. Ibinabo, what do you think about the strike and ASUU wanting to join the strike? And there's also another conversation of the federal government with plans in place to deduct 40% from the IGR of universities. So that one alone is another conversation entirely. Looking at all of this and our educational sector and where we stand, do you think this is the way to go?
So many things are happening to Nigerians at the same time. And it's so unfortunate. And I so wish that ASUU wouldn't be part of this industrial action, because I mean, we are so behind. We are trying to catch up. Recall that there had been series of industrial action on the part of ASUU for so many reasons. And now this one, there are some students that their parents had to, sell personal properties, even go borrowing to see them through school. So when you pass your JAMB and you are given admission, if your course of study would stretch through 4 years, you're telling yourself, in 4 years time I'm out of school, and you're planning your future already. But it is not always very feasible in Nigeria, because you're not sure. 4 years might turn out to be 8 years, 6 years, or even more than 8 years, which this is very unfortunate. So let's look at what happened. We are looking at Nigerian Labour Congress leader or president, Joe Ajero, who was alleged to have been maltreated, and this issue continues to linger. I think directly and indirectly, it was manhandled or maltreated in Imo State. And the governor came out and apologized. Well, whatever the tone of apology was, He apologized, and I don't know, because you see, we are sort of, you know, we are being pulled from both sides. Now, what happened to Joe Ajero was a very sad one. He was badly beaten, and he claimed that the police was involved. But the police were saying that they only came in to protect him. And you know, these are the ugly sides of our politics. Because as far as I'm concerned, as the Nigerian Labour Congress president, Joe Ajero has a right to visit any state. Most of Imo say that he is from Imo State. But you see, sometimes when we're going to embark on any activity or any journey or whatsoever, we should be circumspect. More so when you know that you sit on a very sensitive chair or seat. You know, Nigerian Labour Congress have been accused of being sympathetic with Labour Party and so on like that. So there are so many things going on. So if this industrial action is all about protesting against what was meted out to the Labour leader. So these are all ugly activities, and bringing this down to affect the course of our educational, activities in our higher institution is unfortunate. Because when ASUU goes on strike, I mean, a lot of things would happen. It has even contributed to low standards in, government universities and other higher institutions owned or run by the government. You realize that a lot of students have a lot to catch up with. And at the end of the day, we turn out half-baked students, or should I say half-baked graduates. There are so many disadvantages to this. Already, ASUU on its own have issues with the government, with the federal government. Issues of federal government making promises and not living up to expectations. Issues of low standard of education. So many things going on. So it's a case of sometimes already falling, and then you are further dragging it on the ground. What's going to happen to it? So this is very sad. It is sad because we delay the graduation of some students. They have to pay for extra session. They miss out, on proper lectures. So many things. Coupled with the state of the economy. So sometimes when you hear some stories, you just tell yourself, when are we going to get out of these woods? We have been behind this mountain for too long. This is a huge problem. How do we separate all of this? How do we do it? The government has to sit down and look at how best to face all of these situations that we have on ground, because this is not good enough. Like I said earlier, our standard of education from primary school up to the university level has nosedived. So we have a huge problem in our hands to solve. Then when you now begin to talk about this industrial action for all the right or wrong reasons, then what do you get? Already, Nigerian youths are already claiming that school is scam. I do not agree with that, but then that is the mindset. And we cannot continue to fuel this negative mindset that indeed school is scam. Just yesterday, we discussed about a young lady who did a video and posted it that no student should bother running after being a first class student because of what she's going through. She came out as a first class student, and she's yet to get a job. So this further corroborates the fact that, school is calm, but it is not. It is not. At this time, I want to advise Nigerian youths not to look at or listen to the noise in the marketplace, but rather look at the person you are haggling with, the person you are buying with, you are buying from, and the persons who are selling to you, and the reasons for going to the market. Because if not for any other reason, the fact that no matter how nose-dived the educational system may be, you can never compare a secondary school education to university education. And you know that to attain some level in Nigeria, you have to have your university certificate. Whether you came out with third class or ordinary pass, just be a graduate. But I'm saying that even running after becoming a first class student is all good. Do not look at all of these issues rearing its face here and there. Please. And the government, I'm so tired. Honestly, we are always talking about one thing or the other. And at the end of the day, this affects our future. It affects the very foundation of Nigeria. It affects the very existence of Nigeria. Because when NLC is on strike, it affects so many things. You can't, activities are slowed down. The economy is, pushed to a corner, and so many things are going on. People are being terribly affected by this. So you see, when issues like this occur, we should, as a government, be quick to nip it in the bud. Do not allow it to become so escalated. That is the problem we have in Nigeria. We wait till things have gone south, really, before we begin to look at, okay, what do we do? How do we provide solutions to this? It is not right. This is why and how we have found ourselves where we are today.
All right.
I'm going to be digressing. Okay. Please. You have politicians who would embezzle money, you know them, and then you will not take any proper action against them until the milk is dry. So, how long are we going to live like this? ASUU should please take it easy. We have enough problems in our universities already. We are dealing with a lot. Poor standard of education is already a big issue. Nigerians are running away from the country. They are even running it's so bad that they are running to even some African countries here. And we're supposed to be the giants of Africa. So what are the attributes of a giant? When we behave like dwarfs. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Government should learn to nip issues in the bud before it gets escalated and begin to affect innocent people. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ibinabo. I like the fact that you've actually had to expatiate on these issues, touching on different sides. Now, let's talk about the part where the federal government wants to deduct 40% of the IGR of schools. What states do you think this will leave our institutions?
Unfortunately, there's something Yorubas say. They say, Toba fag buru, buru afagbo. I don't know what guru is.
So what does it mean?
What I understand by this is that when you push me, means I go push another person. All of us go to push they go like that, and there's no peace, no rest for anybody. When the federal government do this, the school management will in turn push the pressure on the students.
Of course.
Which is very unfair. The students are already so strained and stretched already. Because to whom much is given, much is expected. How has the federal government, fared when it comes to, giving back to the universities? And then again, the IGR, how much have they been able to put together? Because one thing I've realized is that there are some innovations from some universities, but it is not, the government is not making a big deal of it. Like, for instance, we have issues with our economy, and we have students, very brilliant students, if we pick students from different universities and constitute a committee with these students, that, okay, what do you think? Give us solutions to all of these economic problems from different angle. I'm sure we can get some. But is the government leveraging this? No. Then the next thing you hear is they want 40% of the IGR, when already the whole of the 100% is not enough, according to the university management. So there is so much going on. The problem with our government, the government of Nigeria, is rather than looking for solution, unknown to them, they further compound the problem. Now, Nigeria's economy is poor. The government is supposed to be doing everything, commonsensical to revamp the economy. And the government has refused to look into the aspect of cutting the cost of governance. And you hear there was this particular story about the Senate president saying that Nigerians are not fair to our legislators.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what the government of Nigeria want from Nigerians. You have refused to cut down on the cost of governance. You have refused to introduce some form of adjustment to your activities. And then you keep coming back to the people. You keep heaping all of the burden back on the people. And then we have a government. See, we cannot continue to walk on eggshell because we are going to speak the truth. No. We are being bruised, we are being battered by the economy. So you cannot further aggravate our problems. We're not finding it funny already, so aggravating it is not fair. Cut down on the cost of governance, even if it is 1% that you get from whatever it is you have cut down, it's something. Don't buy big vehicles. Look for something within that corridor, but something cheaper. They say no. You will see a senator. A senator will have only God knows how many workers. Nobody wants to cut down on governance. You will see them, they say they want to renovate the legislators' quarters. They spend so much money. I went to a particular state. I will not mention the name of the state.
Okay.
Because it costs a crop. And I was at their legislators' quarters. Most of these apartments are empty. Some of them don't live there. They only come there maybe just to fulfill all righteousness. And yet, you insist on the renovation of this apartment, and you budgeted such humongous amount of money for the renovation. So sometimes I ask myself, are you in the government to further frustrate us, or you are there to mitigate what it is that all of these issues that are affecting us? I don't know. I mean, sometimes you ask yourself some very, very salient question. Very pertinent question. Are you there for us or for ourselves? So, well, for the 40% that they are demanding for. Now they know, say sometimes you wonder maybe there are some things we don't know that the government is aware of, and they know what they are doing. But I want to believe that in whatever the government is demanding for, there should always be a breakdown of what it is. Okay, I know I'm a government, and I know that you make money like this, like this, like this. And of course, we are taking care of some of these responsibilities for you. So you have excess funds in your coffers. So please release 40% to us. This should be further expatiated upon, because when you just hear government is demanding for 40%, the next thing that comes to mind is, hey, our children go here. And when our children go here for school, that means parents go here, or whoever is sponsoring them go here. So all of these things, at the end of the day, the problems are indirectly heaped upon the Nigerian masses. And how do we resolve this when we are already being saddled with a very, very poor economy? I was discussing with somebody yesterday. I went into a supermall to buy a few things. When I got to the counter, of course I know that things are expensive now, but when I got to the counter and the cashier started, picking my items one after the other, I was looking at how the money they go up. In my mind I was saying, really? That's what the thing we are buying. And that's why I could pay.
Things are very, very expensive.
So for the little items I picked, I paid close to 20,000 naira, and I asked myself, what is this? What did I buy now? What is the country we live in? I know some people will come up and tell us that the economy, this issues with economy is not a problem for Nigeria alone. I mean, even developed countries are crying. Yes, but everybody know the level when they carry the cry. Not be Nigeria level, they carry the cry. They still have in such countries, they still have Samaritan programs in that country where you can walk to some places and you'll be able to go home with some food items. We don't have such in Nigeria. We don't have it. So when people do this comparison, I just laugh. That the fact that you are comfortable does not mean you forget that some people are finding it hard to survive, hard to feed, hard to take care of themselves. The minimum wage in Nigeria is 30,000 naira, and some people are not. Some governments are not even paying. They are owing their workers. So how do you survive? So this 40%, na them sabi o, na them know wetin dem see. Say the university they make where they won't collect 40%. And if there is any form of reality in it, I mean, because university management are always coming out to tell us they don't have money and they're always milking dry our students. So now they know what they see. But I tell you, the government has to look inwards. They mentioned IGR. What is the IGR of a state in Nigeria? Not necessarily Lagos State. Lagos State IGR is massive. And we all know the reason. Apart from good governance, Lagos State was once a federal capital of Nigeria. So there was a lot of concentration of development in Lagos State at some point. So this has given Lagos State a soft landing to develop. And good enough, Lagos State has been blessed with governors, who have, chosen to, take up the baton and continue to take the state to the next level, and they're not stopping. This is beautiful. So I want this to cut across. I mean, let's be honest, every state in Nigeria is blessed with resources, natural resources. How are we harnessing this? I know some people will tell you, and the federal government they handle, but there has to be some sort of agreement between the federal and the state government concerning this. So we keep behaving as if we are a desert. But there's nothing in Nigeria. So because we have issues with petroleum, then the whole country must come around crumbling. There is no mineral that we don't have in Nigeria, whether in large quantity or in very small quantity. We are so blessed, and we're not feeling it. We're not benefiting from it. I mean, what's going on? I remember there was a time the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, had to stop every form of mining in Abuja and its environ. And I asked myself, so then because there was some sort of earth tremor then. So all of these kinds of things, they happen. And we know they hear much. All we they hear now, petroleum. So what happens to all of these other foreign exchange being made from this other, mineral resources? What's going on, whether solid or otherwise? What's going on? So you see, we live in a country where our leaders have to really, take it easy with us, because every leader comes in and tells you, okay, I met an empty purse. But when you are leaving, you to go leave empty purse. Somebody else will come, pick up that and throw it back to the people, to the citizens of Nigeria. The struggle is massive. It's draining. It is draining. It is straining us. It is very strenuous. We are so tired. Every time, like somebody told me that each time, that one thing God has helped him with is that he's able to sleep. Now, each time he wakes up and he sees that the day don't break, he's had to just cut, bam. Like Aluta continue. I said, as long as you are alive, Aluta must continue. But we desire a government that will always put, on the front burner the issues affecting Nigerians and provide solution. It's not. I mean, I can't get over the fact that our members of National Assembly, they don't. I know they know this, but they're just being. I don't understand. I don't know what they are thinking though. You have to realize that you are there for the people, and if you don't come to that realization, you cannot give back to the people the dividends of democracy. You're going to go there and be discussing issues affecting you. Meanwhile, the people who put you there are suffering. It is no rocket science. Nigeria is endowed. If we sit down and we are true to ourselves, I mean, every problem has an immediate, short, medium, and long-term solution. So which one are we looking at? Which one are we looking at? We have a problem. We are in a quagmire. We have a problem. We need to solve this problem. If there's anything that is coming out of universities that the government wants to take, when you collect these things, are you sure they will not return the pressure back to the students? Because this will be very unfair. It will be like government is indirectly squeezing our Nigerian students, which is not acceptable, because they're not there by themselves. They have parents, they have guardians, they have sponsors who are seeing them through school. So whatever pressure you heap on the students, you are heaping it indirectly on their sponsors or guardians or parents. So let's take it easy. Government is always throwing back all of the pressure back to the people. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. This is becoming so worrisome. Nigerians are so... See, Esther, depression, if it used to be a particular percentage, it has increased
definitely
tremendously. People are depressed and they don't even know that they are. People are going through a lot. Some will just, Nigerians, we, just like you are Minister for Happiness, Nigerians will always create humor out of every situation. That is why we are where we are today. Otherwise, some people don't hit the road, some will go crazy. But because we just somehow we just look for something to help us contain all of this so that we don't explode. And Nigerians have formed this habit of, making jokes, and then, every problem, they'll make a joke out of it so that they can release some tension, release some pressure within them so they don't implode. This is very unfortunate. I know the government of the day is trying, but I believe that they can do better. And I also want to tell our people that we need to help ourselves. Because, take for instance, somebody who comes out with fake products.
Okay.
All in the name of wanting money. So you see, when you look at Nigeria's problem, it is hydra-headed. When you're looking at the government, you're thinking about the people, you're looking at everything, and it is so disturbing. You tell yourself, people may not behave well, government may not do better. Everybody is just, things have gone in total disarray. I just pray that our leaders will just find the best way to resolve all of this. I know the world is going through serious economic downturn, but Nigeria, we are very peculiar. When it comes to wahala, if wahala dey the world, Nigeria won't go special. It go different. Why are we always like this? Even we as citizens, we're not helping matters. How do you fathom someone who will just begin to sell fake drugs, knowing that this thing will in the long run kill the person consuming it, and you go ahead and sell these things all because you want to make money to cover the holes the poor economy has created in your pocket. It's not fair. So honestly, Esther, we are dealing with a lot. When you come up with a topic, when one looks at it, you begin to, you are already looking at 10 problems in front of you, not one. But the bottom line is, whatever the government is doing, whether they want to take the 40% out of whatever a university makes, please don't forget that everything you do will have an aftermath. And this will further, put more pressure on the students.
All right. Thank you so much, Ibnabo. I totally agree, really, because at the end of the day, if the school is to demand for more money from the student to be able to run the school and foot their bills, it will go back to the citizens at the end of the day, and people are having to lament. I was talking to Buki this morning about some videos that I have seen, people complaining about the economy and saying that if they had known, they wouldn't have bothered coming out to come and vote and all of that. So we're talking about the video this morning. A lot of people are having to take on more than they can handle. People are choosing not to speak on these issues anymore because they're tired. There's this recent conversation on Twitter X. In as much as it looks like banter and jokes, but this is our current reality. People were having to refer to times when they will buy spaghetti for 100 naira, buy a derica of rice for 150. Talking about good old days, and when you look back, these years are not so far away from where we are right now, but the prices of things have just skyrocketed and people are having to just manage whatever it is that they have. I know somebody would easily say, and then in that case, live within your means, do what you can afford. Even they afford, what is affordable at this point in time? What exactly? Because people are just having to manage and just put whatever it is that they have together. A woman in one of the comment section was having to talk about how she's having to cut down on the snacks that she gives to the children to school. You know what it feels like to pack a child's lunch pack and you have fruits, you have drinks, you have biscuits and different things there, but people are having to cut costs. How many people can afford to do that? How many people can still afford to make decent meals in their homes? Because when you think about everything, you are even asking yourself whether it is cheaper to eat out or to make a meal in your house. Every single thing is expensive. Everything. So anyhow you choose to look at it, it still goes back to our economy. All right. Thank you so much for being on the program. 19 minutes to 10 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7, and it is still Panorama on Women Radio 91.7. The next story we're going to be taking. This one, as we prepare for the 16 days of activism, which runs annually from November 25, that happens to be the International Day of Elimination of Violence Against Women and Girls. It runs up until December 10, Human Rights Day, and that's why we call it the 16 days of activism. And it is, we have this campaign to raise awareness on sexual and gender-based violence and the need to say no and raise support and awareness for survivors of this act. As we prepare towards the 16 days of activism, I came across this one and I just thought, when you go to countries where laws and policies actually work, it exposes the things that you've been doing in wherever country you're coming from, where anything just goes. A Nigerian guy, Abiola Tijani, left Nigeria to the United Kingdom in January 2023. And by July 2023, same year, just how many months interval, he has been arrested for raping a woman he was trying to talk to on the street. Emphasis on the street. A total stranger. He didn't know who this woman was. She was just coming back from school where she was celebrating the completion of her A-levels with her friends, hoping to move on to greater things in life. Then this Nigerian guy stops her, trying to have a conversation with her. Maybe she was not just in for it, and one thing led to another. He decided to rape her. Now, my question, Ibinabo, in all of this is, think about where this guy is coming from here in Nigeria. Do you know if the possibility of how many people that he must have perpetrated this act on, and it has gone unpunished, unreported, and what have you? But just look at the interval. You can tell that this is something that this person has been doing over time. You arrived the UK in January, and by July, this is what you thought to do. You didn't even think about all of the resources and everything that you put together to go abroad. It means that this is what this person has been doing all along back here in the country, Ibinabo.
It's unfortunate, and I appreciate the fact that he has been punished commensurably. You see, if you know a place, you know Yaba Market.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you know Yaba.
Yes, I know Yaba. Yes,
Market. I do. Yaba Market. when me and small Yaba Market day, so you can imagine, Yaba Market is a well-known market. For a lady to walk down Yaba Market without being harassed by some men there, it will be a miracle. You're walking down, you don't know where you're going because that market has spilled over into the roads. And of course, where human being go walk now, you're going to walk in the air, you're going to walk on the roads. Mm-hmm. So when they see a lady walking down the road, they'll just go to her, grab her hand, what do you want to buy? I am selling this. I don't want to buy. They will continue to talk. They will hold on to your wrist. They will not let you go. And if you, out of anger, push them, the next thing, they begin to hit you. They will physically assault you. So you can imagine a person with such a mindset, a person who is used to doing that. This kind of a guy would have raped several ladies in Nigeria, and maybe because of the community he lived in, or probably the mindset of the people that he raped, he got away with a lot of it, because if he had been adequately punished, that probably would have served to a large extent sort of a deterrent. And you see, what audacity. I mean, I asked myself, is this guy okay? He thought he could get away with it because it was in the wee hours of the day. So it was very early, and he thought he could just have his way and then go scot-free. But fortunately, that country was not Nigeria, where you feel that you can do an undo. Here, and he wasn't the first. I've seen series of videos of Nigerian men sexually harassing or abusing minors. There was a particular video I saw some time ago of a man, not even a guy, a man. That man shouldn't be less than, that man should be in his late 40s or in his 50s. And he continued to have a series of chats with this underage girl, to the point that he even had to take a photograph of his private part and send to this girl.
Can you imagine?
And was his that she should send him a nude picture of hers. At the end of the day, the parent, I think the girl reported to her parents, and they set him up. That was how he was arrested. And he didn't know that, unlike some, though we if Nigerian police won't do better, they are good.
If
they don't want, if they won't do
now they talk say if Abi. Now the if, because no case is bigger than the other. Every single case, especially human angle stories like this, need to be given some. So when you even tell people, you tell survivors or victims of sexual and gender-based violence to go report at police stations, they're already asking you, they will ask me for money I don't have and all of that. And truly, these are the issues that we're still having to deal with.
Exactly. You see, this man, they set him up. Police monitored him for weeks. So everything they were able to gather concerning him, it's like when they placed it in front of him, he had no choice than to just confess. And started apologizing. But apology don't go work now. Apology don't go work. That was too late. So yeah, he was arrested and like that. And of course, that was in Nigeria where somebody will know somebody, and then at the end of the day, you see that they will let him off the hook. So you see, what I want to say here is our lives should project everything that paints Nigeria in the right colors. I know that people rape everywhere. But you see, there was a time that there was series of videos that overwhelmed the social media. Videos of Nigerian men abroad sexually harassing minors. And that was quite a huge embarrassment. Just like you rightly said, only God sabi wetin this guy go don do for Nigeria before he travel. For you to have traveled to a country where they don't joke with their laws, and then you didn't just harass her, you actually went all the way, you went the whole 9 yards to perpetrate this ugly act. You went the whole hog. You did the next thing where remain are to just kill the girl. Honestly, do we say that we should begin to give lectures to Nigerians when they want to travel abroad or what? Haven't they heard?
Away from even abroad, because even the safety of women and girls here in Nigeria is at stake. And why this one really gets me reeled up is the fact that when you talk about these issues, people want to make certain excuses for people here in the country as to, how it happened. If only the girl too had stayed at home. If only this one. If she did not wear this, did she have to go to the party? And I don't even want to hear any of this anymore, because if consequences are not well spelled out to people, you will still see people making excuses for what is not. I was speaking to a woman, I think on Saturday, and she said something. So there's this joke that people use a lot on Twitter when they call some women patriarchy princesses. What it means, because now Gen Zs, they use them before you come for us. What it means when they call somebody a patriarchy princess is that this is a woman who holds in high esteem societal norms that we've been conformed to over the years. So even when there's a shift, she doesn't see things like that. She's just stuck on the fact that this is what we've always done and this is how it should be. So they call them patriarchy princess. This woman was trying to talk to me about something, and everything she was saying, in my head I was trying to put two and two together, like, Then I looked at this woman's children. She had 3 young girls. In my head I was like, somebody really needs to tell this woman in good time, because if not, I wonder what she's saying to these girls already. I wonder what legacy she's leaving for these girls. And it's not from a place of wanting to intentionally subject the children to what is not. It is just what she knows. Ignorance. So I was even trying to, because people like that, when they don't know any better, you want to be warm in the way you pass the message. I was just trying to just tell her subtly, trying to let her, but her voice was louder than mine in the way she kept saying it. No, na so we did. I said, okay, no wahala. I really hope that at some point she would get it, or the children some way or the other, that this kind of advocacy that we get to do will get to them, because we have lots of women who still have mindset like this.
It's unfortunate, like last week I was in a very heated conversation with some men, and they kept on saying, look, if every woman will stand for the other woman, that all of these issues, complain about what men are doing to women, nobody go tell them, he goes stop. And they even took it to politics, where women do not support women. And they even started an example of a female politician who was the only female presidential candidate at that time. And she only got one vote. And that was probably her own vote. Nobody voted for her. You see, until women come to the full understanding that, finding your place in this world, standing your ground, does not mean that you are in any form of competition with anybody. I'm a woman, I'm not a man. I don't even look like a man. So there's no contest that, okay, I'm a man, I have to do this. No, I'm a woman. But what we are saying is, stop this preferential treatment. Stop this belief that women can't do so much. That is what some mothers teach their daughters. When a man is talking, you keep quiet. There's a difference between teaching or training your child to have some level of decency, some decorum in her. You don't use a man as a yardstick. So if a man is talking, she should keep quiet. But if a woman is talking, she should yell at that fellow woman. That is what we have. That is the understanding the children get. And as they grow older, they become like that. That is why you see women do not support women. Because when you are training up a child, when you are teaching a child how to be calm in any heated situation, you don't bring a man as an example. So I can argue and quarrel with a fellow lady, but I shouldn't argue and quarrel with a man. This double standard is not right. It's not helping anybody.
All right, Ibnabo.
And that goes to show that there is a huge problem in the way we bring up our girl child.
Definitely.
We have to be careful. We have to be careful so that we don't send the wrong message.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ibnabo. I'm glad that we're starting off this conversation. And yes, we're looking forward to the start of the 16 days of activism in about 10 days. So you're going to be hearing a lot more on the need for us to come together as a society and speak up against sexual and gender-based violence. There's always something you can do in your own little space, regardless of how much you think that you have a stake in this. There's always somebody around you that you need to look out for. Thank you so much, Ibnabo, for being on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me. And I want to tell you that it's not going to be a holy grail having women support women. We are inching towards it. Gradually, we'll get there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, and it's a wrap on Panorama this morning. My name is Esther Alaribe. Do also join us again tomorrow at 9:05. Up next is Radio Doctor with Rose Yusuf Kesar. Good morning.
To sponsor this program, call the number 0816 480 7613.
WFM 91.7.